Welcome to the Sunday night chat. I'm Mike. I am half-assing the look today. The Stilo, the Mike Z Stilo. This video, you think my Sunday night chats are all over the place. This one's going to be all over. This is going to be one subject to the next. I wrote a few notes down. See if we'll get to these topics today. The topics today are going to be little Davos, the Minneapolis, Heartbreak Ridge, Marine Corps, the word Zug, which is Armenian for midget, because I could talk about midgets for hours. And I watched Urban Cowboy last night. When was the last time you saw this? Just want to mention that real quick. And I was just out back here talking to my 24-year-old neighbor, who's adorable. She's fashion. She's going to fashion school, and she sews, and she knows how to make patterns and everything. So I gave her, these are the hats. You guys, we've been talking about these for a while, right? I've got the female pattern, or the style. This is like a vintage upholstery fabric from like the 40s, maybe the 50s. And I'm sending one of those back east this week. And there's one here for Claudia. Her and her husband, Armando, we talk on the phone from time to time. We did that this week, and that was nice. And just let you guys know what's going on. Work is progressing here. I didn't get a check this week. It was funny. I really like this guy. He's going through some personal stuff, and we had spoke. He's like, "I'll get you the money today," and he didn't. And then I got nervous, and I know he's good. He's good for it, as they say. But I couldn't put the work in if it wasn't going to happen, and I get a little nervous about that sort of thing. So I didn't get anything done this week on the work front, which is fine. It's okay. But this is a project that if everything had gone perfectly, which it hasn't, like if he didn't have his personal stuff that's going on, if you don't know, his dog was attacked by another dog, and it's been really hard for him. He doesn't know if he's going to have to put the dog down or if the dog's going to make a full recovery. And I'm sure he doesn't want to discuss it with me or anybody else because he's living it every day right now. And that's been a thing. So I'm letting him deal with that. But I did get some coins, so at least I can work this design out now this week. So we'll get that done. I don't know. Well, let's start with the Minneapolis thing just because it just happened. And all I'm going to say is it's crazy. This latest shooting incident, there's the main video that came out. And if we look at that video, you can see somebody behind all the action right there on top of it, filming it from the other angle. And I watched that video. It almost looks like the guy's almost fighting with a woman at one point. The guy ends up getting shot. To me, there's not clear evidence of what was going on there, but it doesn't matter because the facts are stop going there. Stop trying to interfere with ICE. ICE is never going to be abolished. They have a job to do, and this is all the Democrats' fault. Period. For 4 years, that last administration, supported by the media, allowed millions of people to come into this country. We don't know who they are. Or where most of them came from, nothing. And a lot of them are criminals, and that's who they're basically going after. And from time to time, I'm sure somebody innocent gets arrested and all that. The problem is that they're being egged on by people who want to disrupt the system. They want to take down capitalism. They're trying all these different techniques to take down capitalism. They're using the Cloward-Piven strategy. They're doing the Saul Alinsky 13 rules. This is what they've been doing. And by the way, the Saul Alinsky thing, like those rules can apply to either side. Like they're kind of smart, but it's ends justifies the means kind of thing. If they can't do it by overwhelming the system, they're also going to do it by programming their zombies to do a bunch of stupid things like obstruct law enforcement, which is dumb. It's stupid. So stop doing it. If you don't put yourself in that situation, you won't get killed. Nothing bad's going to happen to you. Bottom line, that guy was armed. He did have, it was a high capacity. I saw the pistol, man. It's like a high end, it's like a $1,300 handgun plus optics and everything else he had on it, 2 extra mags, and all high capacity mags. So that doesn't bother me. I would like to be able to have that legally. Can't have that in California. Legally, you can only have 10 rounds. Legally. So, look, man, now I'm seeing, the last couple days I've been watching a lot of these videos of people, I am Antifa and it's time to arm up, man, and get your guns and show up here, it's time to fight. Those videos are going to get a lot of people killed. That's what's going to happen. And I'm weighing that one out, like, okay, if it's those kinds of people, good. You wanted it. I mean, there's a part of me, I'm not saying I want this, you know. People that have been to war will tell you, you don't want that here, for sure. I never got deployed to a combat situation, which is going to bring up another thing with the Marine Corps thing, which I don't like bringing up. But my comments sometimes, I'm like, why are you asking me this? There's only one purpose for this. You're trying to belittle me, make me feel bad, give me shame. I got enough shame that I put on myself because of what happened to me in the service. But the point I want to make with this is, like, they keep saying it. People on the right forever have been saying there's going to be a civil war, man, and we're always ready. You know, we're armed. We've been trained. We've been doing this our whole lives. We got the prepper mentality. We got the vehicles, the firearms. We got places to go to. We're ready, man. Now it's the left, like the far left, the extremists. And they're doing it. And when I see the videos of what they're doing, it's like, okay, I don't think you really can handle what you're asking for. But it'd be a fun scenario. It'd be a fun thought experiment. Just to be like, okay, like anywhere where this is popping off, be like, hey, listen, there's right here on the end of town, there's 5 acres of a wooded area. You guys get on one side, right? The rest of us, like their opposing force, we'll just all show up, like a bunch of veterans and hunters and shit, and we'll be on the other side, and then we'll engage in a gun battle. And let's see how that works out for you. You know, let's see how that works out for you. I know what I'd be doing if I lived in a hot spot where it was actually popping off. This is not going to happen. What'll happen is that apparently Antifa showed up. These are the guys from Portland. What do? They create an autonomous zone and they block off the streets with shit that they've stolen from everything around them. And they're begging for a fight. And they want this on camera because this is part of Cloud Pivot and everything else. This is unrest, so that you have to have the government come in to be more authoritative. The only way that works, actually, though, for them, is if it's a left-winger running things. And in the state, it is. But Trump ain't that. So if Trump sends somebody in, he's not going to care. Like right now, in this situation, the right is correct in it. You don't believe it if you're on the left. I get it. Again, that woman wouldn't have got shot if she wasn't there doing her job. And her job was to specifically block and obstruct with their vehicle. She was the leader of a convoy of cars trying to stop ICE from doing their job. She didn't listen to the commands. She didn't get out of her car, didn't do anything. Then she tried to get away, going right at a guy. She got dead, period. This guy shows up, gets into a fight. He's fighting it, right? And then he got shot because he had a gun. Don't do that. If you're going to show up with, I saw one guy saying, yeah, the only way is everybody shows up. If you got a rifle on your back, if everybody's got a rifle on their back, then ICE isn't going to do anything. That's an interesting experiment. Let's play it out. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. If you're going to do that, let's see what happens. Are you really willing to put your life on the line for it? We'll see. They keep screaming fascism and everything. They're the fascists. They're the ones that are telling us that we have to believe what they believe and we have to think the way that they think. And that's crazy. I read off the rap sheets of a lot of these guys that's provided, but you can look this stuff up. They're trying to go after the criminals, but keep in mind, if you are here illegally, you are a criminal. By definition. You're an illegal alien. That's the legal term for it. So it's a shitty situation, but we wouldn't be in this situation if the Democrats didn't let it happen in the first place. That's the bottom line. I'm not going to get emotional over this. I'm not going to yell and scream, but that's what's happening. And it's the Democrats that are telling people, when I say Democrats, I don't mean like your normal run-of-the-mill, old school Democrat. I was one of those people pretty much my whole life when you think about the way my mind works. I'm talking about the Marxists, the people that have taken over the party, the Ilhan Omars, the AOCs, these people. They're trying to take us down. That's what they're trying to do. The fraud and everything else has been going on for a long time. The funny thing is their concept has worked. It's worked in Europe and other places. The problem with it working here is we have too much freedom for them. We have too much freedom, and we have too huge of an economic engine here. And we don't, in their mind, don't have enough regulations, right? So you could basically, anybody could put a friggin' sticker on their car and call themselves a carpenter and start doing work here. Nobody's stopping anybody from doing that. So we're entrepreneurial. We have the American mindset is go out there and hustle and make things happen. You just can't do that in a lot of other places on the planet. And that's what's been, thank God, that's what's been keeping America together and not 100% capitulating to socialism. So it's an interesting time to be alive. This is a flashpoint place. These people, I'm listening to them. I'm watching the live feed videos, and they're getting up on their bullhorns, and they're saying things like, this is it. This is our stand. If we fail here, it's going to collapse everywhere. If we succeed here, meaning they're successful against the federal government, then they win. Okay. The left is, these crazy loonies are setting the parameters. They're saying what they want. They want a civil war right now in Minneapolis. They're going to show up armed, and to them it's a real war, and it's going to look bad. It's not going to look good if it comes to that. And it's probably going to come to that because the Insurrection Act is right there. It's probably on the desk. Trump's probably already put his first name on it. He's just waiting. Like, I don't know. Let's think this out. We could work something. We'll see how it goes. They might have to send, if they send the Marines in there, it could be crazy. But remember, they did it here in LA. Gavin Newsom's complaining about that. You sent the Marines into our city. If they hadn't sent the National Guard and the Marines this past summer, it would have blown up into 2020. That's what the left wants. They want it to be the summer of 2020 all the time in these urban areas so they can spin that and somehow blame Trump for it. It's stupid because they made it happen. They made it happen. Again, I keep reiterating. They brought all these people in. This is the situation we're dealing with. Get the criminals off the streets, but if you're going to get in the way, you're collateral damage at this point, and you are doing that to yourself. I hear you. I hear you. You're discompassionate. You don't care about people. I care about people, fine, but try doing this in another country. Go to Mexico and start telling them how you want to live and feed off their welfare system, whatever there is there. Do that anywhere else, and try to screw with their government and have it doesn't work, So it's an interesting thing to watch. My advice is, don't go to that thing. You're risking it. This brings up a thing. I got in an argument with a mountain bike guy years ago because they were doing these things in Colorado, and he was telling me how he had friends there and they had their kids at one of these protests, and people got sprayed with pepper spray and they're talking shit about law enforcement. I'm like, well, that sounds like child endangerment to me. They sound like bad parents. And he got all defensive. Like, what do you mean, man? I know these people. They're friends of mine. They're really good people. How good could they be if they're bringing their little kids to a protest that they know can become violent based on what they've seen? Are they stupid? Or they don't know? Do they think by bringing their kids that the law enforcement is going to be less likely to, do their jobs? You're literally using your children in a way that's endangering their lives and their safety. Your kid should be taken away from you if you're doing that. That's crazy. You're a bad parent, period. Anybody's bringing kids to this. If you've got kids and you're going to these things and you're going to put yourself between, the criminals and law enforcement and something bad happens to you, you made that happen. I'm off it now. I think this is common sense. The people who are supporting it are emotional and they're programmed with bullshit. You know, and that's why they're doing it. So we'll get off that now because that was way too much time on that, to be honest with you. Real quick, Urban Cowboy last night. When was the last time you saw this? This is a crazy friggin' movie, man. Uh, it's just so fucking weird. You know, John Travolta, works for like an oil company, like he's works on the rigs in a refinery, moves to an area outside Houston. Gillies, which is real, it was a real place. Charlie Daniels performs in this. They let him do the whole "Devil Went Down to Georgia" song, which is pretty good. Deborah Winger is in it. I was thinking about her anyhow because I watched Officer and a Gentleman a couple weeks ago with Richard Gere, and anyhow, he meets her. They fall in love. They get married. And a mechanical bull arrives at Gillies, and he becomes one of the best riders there. But this guy from prison, played by Scott Glenn, who's a friggin' stud in this movie, man. The guy is jacked. He ripped to shreds. Uh, they're like married a week. Their emotions get the better of them. They're arguing all the time. He kicks her out of the place, and neither one could say I'm sorry. Neither one could be the bigger person. She goes with the criminal Scott Glenn. He goes with this rich chick, and then in the end they get back together. But it's the craziest thing. I'm watching it the whole time. I'm like, how has this happened? It's a movie, which brings me to Heartbreak Ridge. I follow these. You know, pages, and a lot of them are Marine related on Facebook because they're fun. They're funny. They post a lot of fun stuff, and it's man stuff going on. Stuff I can relate to. I get the humor. I appreciate it. It's a brotherhood, all that stuff. And they were talking about Heartbreak Ridge, and in the comments, there was a lot of these guys, and I'm assuming they're young guys, are knocking Heartbreak Ridge. It's so fake, man. This wouldn't happen now. It's fake. That's no shit, Sherlock. It's entertainment. It was a movie. It's not described as a documentary. Like, I'm happy that movies have gotten more realistic, especially war pictures and military stuff, because it is a problem for anybody who served any length of time. When you watch a film and it's just not correct, uniforms are bad and all that kind of stuff. The jargon is wrong. Hand grenades don't have flames shooting out of them, all that sort of thing. But they're spoiled by the fact that they're getting all the realism now, and that's what they expect. And when they go back and watch an older movie, it seems hokey to them. But to us at the time, it was very entertaining, and to me, it's still entertaining. It's about the dialogue and the idea around it. It's very funny. But I will tell you, I was in at exactly that time, and the Marine Corps was all fucked up. I mean, everything was weird. We had white T-shirts, green T-shirts. We know what the hell was going on, and they say in the movie, like, nobody would be yelling at a master gunny like that or whatever, like some PFC. And I'm thinking, I did that. Like, when I was a busted private. Now, they were fucking with me and they were wrong and they knew they were wrong, which is why I got away with it. But I fucking yelled in the face of a major as a busted private, and all he said was, get out of my office. Because he knew he was wrong and he'd been screwing with me. My sergeant, same thing, multiple sergeants, you know. And I got into a physical confrontation with this corporal, which was much bigger than me, but he fucking deserved it. So that shit is happening. It was happening then. I don't know if it's happening now. But I'm telling you, I was there and it happened. One last thing on this. Lately, people have been getting in there and they're trying to undermine me in a way. Like, how many months did you serve, bro? Stuff like that. Because they're trying to belittle me. But here's the deal. My situation was so bad, for me personally, the way that I got out and everything, that I felt horrible and I felt shame because of it, to the point where I didn't talk about it for years. And I didn't go to the VA and all these things. So I was told I couldn't, and I lied to get out, and it was bullshit, but I was injured. One point I want to make there. I had a very severe injury that happened in boot camp. And something I never put together till now is to give myself some credit, because the injury that I had was eventually what led to me getting out. But you got to think about that. The injury I had, most people would not have been able to finish boot camp. I sucked it up through all the pain and everything else, and still got through boot camp, and still got through infantry school, boot camp Parris Island, infantry school at Camp Pendleton, up and down the mountains. I fell a lot. I was constantly tripping over myself. They would send me to the infirmary, Motrin and a brace, you know. I think I got some x-rays, but they never gave me MRIs. Were not a thing back then. If they were, they weren't giving them. And so they didn't know about the soft tissue damage. And that's really was the thing. But the fact that I got through all that training and then still did a year as a security force Marine, you know, and it doesn't matter how long you're. I didn't know this. Like, it bothered me that I didn't do my full 4 years. It wasn't until decades later where other Marines, a lot of combat Marines, and I know a lot of tier one guys or have known over the years. And when we hang out, they get to know me. They're like, dude, you're one of us. And they're like, it doesn't matter how long you were in. That's all that matters to me. The badass motherfuckers who tell me that, that's what matters. Because they point out, like, you did boot camp. You earned the Eagle Globe and Anchor. Period. You're a Marine, period. You're a Marine for the rest of your life, period. Doesn't matter if you served a year. Doesn't matter if you served 8 months or if you served 18 years or more. You're a Marine, period. That made me feel better. And you have to understand, this was put to me at one point too. A guy said to me, he's like, dude, there were guys during the Vietnam War, they went to boot camp, they went to a school, like an infantry school, and then they went to Vietnam, and then they died in combat, serving half the time I spent in. So you have to put things into perspective with that. It took a long time and a lot of conversations and a lot of introspection and everything else for me to be okay with discussing my situation here and with other people, because for a long time I didn't want to, because it was a long drawn out thing. So when somebody comes on like, how many months did you serve? You're writing a book, it's really none of your business. But it's not a simple answer as this, because then they can say, oh, fuck you. If you know the whole story, which is a lengthy story, then you get a better picture. But if you never served at all and are giving people grief, shut the fuck up. Shut up. You know what the hell you're talking about. Now we'll move on to something else. Davos. Trump is hysterical. People don't like him, and I get it. You know, people don't like confidence. I've been getting shit my whole life because I'm a confident person. Doesn't mean I think I'm right about everything. It just means I speak with a certain gravitas, right? And that just comes from being confident. Doesn't mean I think I'm right. It's just what I'm thinking at any given moment. Boom, matter of fact, boom, boom, boom. I can back it up. And if we have a disagreement and you can speak rationally without getting emotional and invading my personal space and, you know, getting a little violent or something, if you can actually use logic and discuss things, and you can make me see another point of view that I can weigh the pros and cons versus my pros and cons from my point of view. And you could change my mind on things. You might be able to get me to see some nuance there. I'm open to that. I'm cool with it. Unfortunately, when it comes to politics these days, very difficult to have a rational conversation with somebody from that other side. So before Trump went to Davos, he went up on the podium with this big thing of all of his accomplishments from 1 year, threw it on the ground, and he rattled off a bunch that he wanted to talk about. And it is true. You have to admit, whether you like it or not, it's truly amazing what he's been able to accomplish. The snarky way to look at it, yeah, he really accomplished a lot of goals, division. It's not as much division as you think. It looks that way because you see it on the media. And the media keeps showing you all this negative shit because they're in the business of backing up the bullshit that they've been saying about him for the last 15 years. That's why. They can't admit that they're wrong about anything. It's crazy. It's really nuts. But he's accomplished a lot of great stuff. And so, and I like, when he goes to Davos, I like that he put Europe in their place. If it wasn't for the U.S., when he said you'd always be speaking German and a little Japanese, that was funny. It's true. It's true. Germany's talking shit again? That is, Germany, that is not a good look, bro. All right, 2 world wars because of you assholes in the last century. So Germany, tap it down a couple notches. All right, you ain't gonna do shit. If you do, you're gonna get your ass kicked again. So knock it off. I liked what he did there. I think it's good, and we'll see how things shake out. We'll see how it shakes out. It needed to happen. If Trump didn't come along. If Kamala was, which, you know, she wouldn't have been president, she would be a figurehead and she'd have all these people behind her, the crazy leftist socialists running things, and the world would be a dumpster fire right now. It'd be a dumpster fire, and prices, everything would be through the roof. And prices have come down. I keep seeing these lefties, prices aren't coming down. I buy food every week. I've seen the eggs drop in the last year, way down. I eat eggs every day. I know what they cost. Fuel everywhere else is cheap except for blue states because they're fucking you, because they don't want this governor here, Gavin Newsom, him in Davos, what a joke. What a clown. And he's there with Alex Soros. If you guys don't know about the Soros family and how they've taken down, destabilized economies in other countries, and his father's the devil incarnate, George Soros. And this is his kid. And this guy, they're so wealthy. This is where a lot of the money's coming from to fund the crazy people in Minneapolis, to get them out of jail. They've got judges in their back pockets, politicians, and famous people. This is what's going on. We know this is what's going on. There's been exposés on this where they follow the money and they know that it's coming from these organizations. Soros is a smart guy. He separates himself through all these different entities and organizations, but it all traces back to him. So that's what's going on, and it's crazy. So I'm happy. It's so funny with the Greenland thing. They were saying, oh, military, they're trying to make it sound like Trump's going to invade Greenland with a military force. I told you last week, that's never going to happen. It's not happening. And in the end, what did I say last time? Trump's going to say a bunch of crazy shit. It makes people emotional. Then they say even crazier shit that makes them sound even dumber. And then in the end, Trump's going to get what he wants. It's the art of the deal. This is the guy. This is what he makes happen. You're watching it happen. You might not like it, but it's happening. And this is a guy who's getting things done. You might not like what he's getting done, but he's getting them done. I've never seen anything like this before in my lifetime with any president. This is what a president's supposed to do, who loves his country. You got to protect it. You got to help it grow. You got to help growth. You got to get rid of regulation. You have to make energy costs lower. You got to work trade deals with people that benefits this country instead of other countries. It's just, to me, it seems like common sense. So yeah, that's why I'm on board with it. I'm going to get a bunch of hate here. Overall, they're going to be positive comments, but there's going to be a couple morons here like, oh, Orange Man bad. Shut the fuck up. Stop being a child. Stop being a child. Okay, we're done. I covered everything. Was that pretty much it? That was a lot. I was talking to my friend Corinne, and I had a little video call yesterday. That's my friend up in Canada. You guys might know from the channel. She comes down pretty frequently in the springtime, and we'll go in the van. We'll do a little trip somewhere. And I was talking to her about the comedy place that's across the street here, because I still haven't walked over there, and I need to. This whole week I got in a funk. And I watch the stuff over there, and I'm just a little nervous about it, like, because it's not a comedy club like a bar. I wish it was a bar. I wish it was a bar where you could sit in and have a drink and watch the This is a place where you learn to be a comic, basically. You go up, you do your thing, and it's mostly pretty much all comics in there. And I know they're young people, and so I went to the Instagram page. It's the Hollywood Comedy is, I think, what it's called. So look for their Instagram page and look at what's going on there. And it's just weird to me because I know I'd pretty much be the oldest guy. But I was thinking about all these different topics that I talk about, have talked about for years. And I've got a lot of good premises that need to be worked out, right? And I'm listening to these kids, and there's a lot of self-deprecating humor, which I do, right? You should do that. And a lot of it is based on appearance, what you look like. And it's better for everybody in the room if you attack yourself right from the jump, because then it lessens anything that somebody else is going to shoot at you, like a heckler or something like that. So if I came up on stage and said something along the lines of, I'm older now, I'm pretty much wear a hat all the time because, ever since my hairline started receding, now I realize I look like a giant midget, a midget with gigantism. And then go off from there, and then go off into I could probably talk about midgets, like I said, for a couple hours. And I had this crazy midget situation that happened one time, and I know they don't like the word midget. It's little person is the preferred vernacular, or dwarf. But the thing is that midget is a funnier word, so you got to use midget. You got to say midget. If you have to say midget 50 fucking times, it's funnier than little person or dwarf. It's at their expense, but that's what we do. That's what people do in comedy. They make fun of one another, and it's fucking funny, all right? But that doesn't mean I'm belittling them. You know, I'm not belittling the little people. I'm just being funny. But I had a midget experience, which I've told here before, and it was the craziest thing. And it was at the Mondrian Hotel, the Sky Bar, in the late '90s. Me and another guy, get this contract. I think it was 3 years in a row. Where we built these props for the parties, and this one year I built, because we had the contract was for two lifeguard stands, like what we have on the beach in New Jersey, oversized so they would serve as a platform, like a dance platform. So we made them like 6 feet by 6 feet or 7 feet by 7 feet, oversized, but it looks just like the lifeguard stands on the East Coast. And we had to put them in the pool there. One was close to the waterline, one was higher, and the whole pool was filled with inflatable astronauts. Don't ask me why. And it was an A-list Hollywood. So like I remember Jerry O'Connell was there as a furry, in like a big bear costume, and I only knew it was him because he took the head off a lot to have drinks and talk to people. But it was a lot of celebrities there, and they had hired these dancers, and one of them was a little person, and she was gorgeous. She's kind of famous. I can't use her name. And she looks like Marlene Dietrich. Beautiful. I didn't get a real good look at her. And then I proceeded to get, loaded. Smoking grass, drinking booze. I was really pretty fucked up. So I wasn't really, paying much attention. I'm just looking at the scene. And it's a crazy scene because it's Halloween. And there's all kinds of crazy, goofy outfits. And the music's going, the lights. And I'm lit. And I see this beautiful face there, and I walk up and we start talking. I'm like, it's familiar that she's working for the thing. I recognize her, but we're at the same height. And what I didn't realize was she was up on it was like a planter with some stairs that went up that were only so deep, like you could walk up around to this other level. And I was on the normal level. And she's looking at me, and, I picked up a vibe. I used to get a vibe. Back in the old days when I was clean shaven and handsome and everything and had more hair on my head, I used to get the vibe. So I got the vibe. I go over, we start talking. Within minutes, her tongue is in my mouth. We're making out. And then she says, come with me. She takes my hand. And as she walks, every step she takes, doom, 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 doom. I'm like, holy shit, it's a fucking midget. I didn't even realize it. And she leads me through this party, and I'm looking around, and people, I feel like people are looking at us because I'm looking and people are smiling, and I'm just being drawn by this little beautiful little person. And she's got this hot pink PVC outfit on, and I'm dressed as a convict. I still have it. It's an orange jumpsuit, says LA County Jail on the back. She takes me into a stairwell. I put her up on the stairs. We make out some more. I sit down. She's on my lap. We make out some more. I stand up. She whips me out and just starts going to town, man. And she's going to town. And all of a sudden I hear this noise, and I look over, and she pulls back. So I'm flapping in the wind. And here comes this Hispanic guy with a tray of glasses, for the party. And he's just looking. I always just thought to myself, what is this guy thinking as he's seeing this? It was crazy. And being a nice guy that I am, it was so nice to me to let her suck my cock. It was... we exchanged phone numbers, and she came here to this apartment. She sat in this chair, but I couldn't get, it's crazy what's going on with midgets these days, because there's hot midgets all of a sudden. It didn't used to be. Like, when you would see a little person back in the day, it seemed like the dwarfism thing, the kind of extended head and the usually overly chubby, but a lot of midgets are jacked, right? But they're cheating because they only have to lift the weight so far. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they can get jacked by moving the weight this far and get pumped and look good. I got to lift it this far. You understand what I'm saying? It's easier for them to look better. So today, there's these beautiful, beautiful little midgets. They're fucking beautiful. And a lot of them are kind of perfectly proportioned in some, I don't understand what the fuck is going on with that. Like, it's this new thing that's going on. When the fuck did this happen? But I can't like a midget. Like, I like women that are smaller than me, and I'm drawn to this thing, Maybe part of it is because when I was young, a lot of the guys that were like me that were lucky, you get to a point where you want to have all these different, like there's like a checklist. Okay, woman with one leg, a woman with one eye, woman with a lisp, black, white, all the Asians, Japanese, Chinese, Korean. There's a checklist you have in your brain, I did that, and I'm not proud of it. It was a long time ago. That was my life then. But you think, though, in those terms. You just want to know what it's like. What is it like to be with that? But the problem is, as a full-grown man, especially at my age, I can't. It would just... I'm not into children. I need full-grown women. You guys have heard me say this before. It's why I have a requirement. If I'm dating somebody, you have to have pubic hair. Period. I can't handle no pubic hair because it creeps me out. It looks like a kid. Can you imagine a midget with no pubic hair? You got to do the exact opposite. If you date a midget, you have to have a midget with a giant friggin' bush on him, at least just to remind you it's not a fucking kid. Like, that's the way my brain works. This one, and normally what you see is you see a normal sized torso with kind of shorter arms and legs that are kind of stubbier. But this lady, she had the short torso with the long spindly legs and arms, like with the knobby knees that made her look like a marionette. And she was so sweet. She was such a nice person. But I couldn't get past the creepy marionette thing, because her feet and hands were like normal big size with big knobby knees. I just couldn't get past that. And it sounds horrible, but I'm admitting it. I'm telling you, visually I need it. And this is what I was saying to Corinne on the phone, on the call last night. Obviously, I want to be with somebody who's happy, like a glasses half full person, who has a great sense of humor, who's not ruled by their emotions, who has impulse control, who is logical. I'm describing a man. It sounds like I want to go out with a man. I'm not gay. Life would be so much easier. My life would be so much easier if I was gay. I would have millions of dollars right now if I was gay because I'd know how to work that shit. But I'm not gay. I like women. But women are a pain in the fucking ass most of the time, so it's hard. I need all of those things, and then I need to be turned on visually. Period. That's just how it is. So it's a problem for me. You're picky. You're this. Yeah, you should be. I'm not going to get past skin tags. I'm not going to get past skin tags. I'm not going to get past jacked up feet. I'm not going to get past... There's certain things that I'm just not going to get past. Sorry. And I'm not trying to pick on anybody and make you feel bad. I'm not perfect. I've always been kind of blown away when women like me. I know kind of what I got going on, but it's weird today when women talk to me. It doesn't happen very often because I don't leave the fucking house. It's been so... You guys know on my birthday, I talked to some women at a bar up in the mountains, and I was blown away that women even wanted to talk. I'm sure my vibe was like, yeah, hi. Okay, yeah. I was very distant. Even when I talked to my 24-year-old neighbor, I'm like, hey, I have to point out, like, I'm not trying to bother you. Just, quick thing, we're having a conversation and this weird thing goes in my brain, like, because I'm falling victim, to a certain extent to this bullshit that's been going on. I did look at the watch. I don't know how long we've been talking. We're probably close to an hour in. But, with women, you can't talk to them. You can't open a door for them anymore. It's like you have to be careful when you're talking to younger people because if you say something that triggers them, I've talked about this before, long before this atmosphere that we're in now, my whole life. You talk to certain people, and especially women, and something gets triggered in their brain, and they're waiting for a pause so that they can go after you about the thing that you said a few minutes earlier in the conversation where they've shut off. They stopped listening to you at that point. That's all they care about. These days, as soon as you say it, it's like, they attack you right away. You can't even have a conversation with a lot of these younger people. They're fucking deranged, and it's a problem. I support it. You know what, you crazy people? Arm yourselves up and go to Minneapolis, and there'll be less of you when that's all done. It sounds insensitive. But I'm not apologizing. Back to the midgets. Yeah, it's crazy. There's this like little TikTok tabby chick. She's like late 20s or something. So she's not a child, but she looks like a little kid. So it's creepy. It's a fucking weird thing to look at somebody that you're like, it's cute. I'm addicted to cute. I like cute. I like the pixie cute thing. I like curly hair, pixie cute kind of thing, and fit. You know, I do have a bit of a thing, but then again, women of all shapes and sizes are fun. You know, I always liked variety. Anyhow, let me see the back of this real quick. Okay, we're okay. So it's crazy video today. I told you it was going to be all over the place. I hope you guys like the midget content. I have to work that out because there's ways to be funnier in that and just keep rolling with it. Uh, I think it's funny. I don't know. You guys will let me know in the comments. It's all coming from a real, like it's funny that I'm even thinking about it. That's the thing. It's a funny thing. I don't know enough about midget world. You know, I don't know enough what's going on. Like, do they prefer only other little people? You see the full size people. It's fucking weird when you see some giant basketball player with some time with a. How does that one even work, man? Like, how does that work? Like, if you see that, you also know you're never going to go out with that midget. Like, no way, because she's been pole dancing. You know what I'm saying? Every night for her is a pole dance. I don't know. I don't know how that, like, the physics alone of that. And I know a baby comes out of you, so basically you could put anything up there if you work it right. There's a lot of old ladies been watching. I don't mean old like you're over the hill necessarily, but I'm reminded from time to time by some of the older women who watch the channels. Like, oh, I don't like when you talk about this. I have to ask you, if you're watching this by yourself and you chuckle, do you feel guilty that you chuckled about something I said? Do you feel like it makes you a bad person if you laugh at something I said? Don't do that to yourself. Give yourself a break, all right? Oh, Sarah, I guess today's gonna be her first YouTube video posted on a Sunday. What the fuck, bitch? She's gonna steal my thunder on my Sunday night chat. Good for her. I'm glad she's changing things up a little bit. I haven't talked to her in a little while. I got to give her a call. But I'm happy for her and all her success. I hope this move gets her to her 300,000 subscribers quicker. Because I want to go party. I think we're gonna have a party in Beatty is what the plan is when she hits 300,000 subscribers. So that'll be fun. I talked about Quartzsite last time. People have asked me about that this week. Yeah, I'm not going to that sort of thing. It's too many people doing the same thing. It's not my thing. I did watch some of my old videos this a few days ago. When there's like 4 videos I did on a camping trip from a year and a half ago. I was up at the Bald Mountain OHV, I think they call it, area. It's an off-road. People bring their side-by-sides, and it's Northern California. Not northern. It's north of here. It's several hours to get there. And met up there with Dave and his wife and his friends, and they're all really nice people. And that was cool. If you guys remember, I went out on a couple epic hikes where I got lost. And I had 4+ hour hikes, 4 or 5 hour, 6 hour hikes. Up in the wilderness up there. And then eventually I was by myself for about 5 days, living in a van down by the river, and it was epic. And I built a dam to dam up the river it was going over these slick rocks, so it was real shallow in parts, and I wanted to skinny dip, really, and soak, because it was hot during the day there. It cooled off pretty quick. It got real cool at night, which was comfortable to sleep. And I'm watching it, and I say it in the video. I did a fireside chat at one point where I was talking about what I think the perfect rig would be to do full-time nomad, and playing with that idea. And in the video, I'm talking about, man, I wish I was just doing this all the time, living in the woods or something. So it goes to this idea of, I think if things work out the way I think they're going to, selling a house and whatnot, I can have enough money to buy a little piece of property someplace. Maybe has some, I won't buy it if it doesn't have water on it. I want something that has like a stream or adjacent to a river, something. Of course, Bigfoot activity, that's the big one. And have my own little oasis to go to and do videos for you guys and for myself, for my own mental health, and how much happier I would be doing something like that. I toy with that idea of doing full-time But this gets to the apartment discussion. I love my apartment, man. I love it. I mean, Los Angeles, California, the way it's run, sure. Why am I going to let that screw with my mental health? I don't have to participate in that thought process. I'm happy. I'm happy. I got it. This is where people can afford me. It's enough for me. I'm overgrowing it. I got way too much crap I got to get rid of. Here's a really cool survival knife with a hollow handle in really nice condition. I forget the make of it. I'll do a video on this at some point. And I think it might have a little survival kit in it. And I'll make a cool sheath for this and do a video. The sheath alone will be worth a lot of money with a sharpening stone. And I'll do a whole, and then I'll put a price on it. I'll say, you could buy this for $300 with the sheath and everything. That's going to have to happen because I got to get rid of shit. And I need the video content. But the idea is like, this is cool. And I get, people are judging me, like the Marine thing. People are trying to make me feel bad. You're not making me feel bad. You're just making me realize like you're a wacko person if your whole purpose is to go in the comments to try to make people feel bad for how they live their lives. Very strange. But not everybody's going to own a house. And there's positives and negatives to both. And if you own a house, do you really own the house? Because, you know, are you making payments? Is the house paid off? Because before you pay the house off, you need money for a down payment. And you got a mortgage. You got to pay that every month. And you need insurance on the house, you know. And then you got your, you know, like I said, your taxes. So after you pay the house off, you still got taxes. What happens if you live in one of these blue states that fuck you over and they come in, they reassess your property and your property taxes go up? What if you're on a fixed income and now you can't afford the property taxes on the house that you spent decades saving up and buying and paying off? Now you can't afford the taxes? Let's say that's not your problem. All right, you got the house, but you're making payments, and you got insurance, and you got taxes. Okay, what about everything else? What happens when the roof goes? What happens when you need a water heater? What happens when you need, you know, anything, appliance, whatever, in an apartment, they replace it. What about, how do you take care of your yard? Do you have the time to go out there and mow your yard and plant stuff and cut stuff down and do all the yard work? Can you do that? If you can't, you got to pay somebody to do that. I'm just saying, there's positives to being in an apartment. There's nothing, you can't judge somebody wrongly for that. I like it. I'm very happy, you know. So, and it's easier for me because I've been here for, it's like 34 years now in this apartment. So my rent's affordable compared to everybody else. There's no, I never have to get rid of this place if I don't want to. Theoretically, I can afford to keep this apartment till the day I die. So why, and it's right in the heart of Los Angeles. Why would I get rid of it? Like, it's a good location. So stop judging me. I'm happy. But if I had a piece of property and I could build something on it, if I wanted to go full time, though, like you could have a piece of property and put a couple connexes on there, do all kinds, store all your shit there if you want. Drive around the country, go there and park and have a nice life. So all these things are doable. And I can see a path right now with the way my life is going to where I can set all that stuff up. All the VA stuff is working, by the way. They've already given me a rating, and that's going to go up. And more stuff is coming in on that. And I'm not going to talk about it now, but, and I don't have to, I'm at the point now with that whole scenario. I don't even like that I brought up the service here in this one, but I had to get that off my chest because lately people have been trying to do that to me in the comments. It's nobody else's business anymore. I talked about it a lot as the process was progressing because it was all new to me and I was trying to navigate it. And some of you guys gave me some decent advice and you wanted to know, the veterans out there were curious about how it was working out. It's working. Everything's coming together. I'm happy, you know. And now I see like a path for it to progress and benefit me even more. And it's all legit, so it's good. It's not like I'm making anything up. I feel good about all of it. But it's not something I want to talk about here all the time. Because it's my own, that's, you know, I share a lot of my personal life here, but I don't need to share everything. It's probably not smart for me to do so anyhow. So enough of that already. As things move along, I'll let you know. I do have to make a doctor's appointment because I need a physical and all that. I actually need somebody to stick their finger up my ass. I know it's a hard thing to come to terms with, but I've never had that done before, and I need a professional to do it because of my age. You know, everything's fine. Everything's working fine. I have a hernia, like a bump on the left side there that needs to get checked out. Got a couple little things I need to get checked out. I don't think anything's that serious, and hopefully we get all that dealt with through the VA. That would be good. At any rate, this is another all over the place video. I know I've ruffled some feathers. If you're still here in the beginning with my take on the Minneapolis situation and these Antifa people, I'm sure something's happening right now. Right now, because again, I know they barricaded those streets and everything, and the federal government is going to deal with this. It's going to happen, and I think this is a good flashpoint place for it to happen. It's winter time. That lessens the number of people who are motivated to really go there. And I also think that if enough of those lefties show up that are armed, like really wanting a fight, I think that a lot of the lefties that are in the streets just being loud with the whistles are probably going to back away. They're some of them actually have a modicum. Is that the word? Modicum? Like there's a little common sense in there. Like you can get through to some of them on some level. They're not going to want to get dead, is what I'm saying. And I kind of want to watch it. I mean, it might sound weird, but they're making it happen. So let's see how it goes. It's going to be crazy. Maybe it needs to happen. Was it Jefferson, one of the founding fathers? From time to time, the tree of liberty needs to be fed with the blood of patriots. It's not verbatim, but it's along those lines. Okay. But those people are fighting for socialism. They're not fighting for capitalism. They're not fighting for the constitutional republic. They're fighting for, democratic socialism. That's what they're fighting for. And it's interesting. These young people who had it easy, had it way easier than we had it. Everything they wanted, didn't want for anything. Information's at their fingertips. But they've got this mentality of, I should go to college and be able to study gender studies and make $100,000 a year at 24 years old. Like, if they don't get that, then, everything sucks and it's my fault somehow. And all Gen Xers are boomers. Fucking stupid. They're just children. They didn't get smacked enough when they were kids. That's my favorite thing lately, has been watching these stupid people pushing somebody like me to the point where, okay, kabam, and you're getting laid out. It's so much fun. It almost makes you want. Before I go, Sabo called me last night. He's in town. He did a hit in Sacramento. He did a hit last night. If he would have called me early enough, I would have gotten in the car with him, because he did go down to the ice station in downtown LA. I was talking to him on the phone while he was there. I wished I was there. I would have gotten some footage of that. And by the way, there's drone footage now of all of these places, and it's nothing. It's like 100 people or 200 people. That's all it is, in like this tight little place. But when it's on the ground, cameras on the ground makes it look like it's a big thing. You see the drone footage, it's just right there. It's just a very small amount of fucking wackos showing up for this. So, it's performative for the most part. But now there's serious consequences for it. So, and then you saw with the church thing with Don Lemon last week. Don Lemon hasn't been arrested yet because there's people fighting it. Like it's insane. 100% he's guilty and culpable and should be put in prison. Period. It's probably going to happen. But right now, he's got people supporting him. And those people 100% are corrupt. Money's coming from somewhere to keep that from happening. And that's interesting to me, because they need Don Lemon. They need these people that have a following to be brainwashed, and he's a brainwasher. So they need the brainwasher. And it's interesting. The whole thing is fascinating. It's the best daytime TV show going. You don't need to watch soap operas anymore, or movies or anything. You can watch this. The problem is it's real, and so people are getting really emotional about it and really upset. You have to separate yourself from that. If you can't separate yourself from it for your own mental health, I recommend you stop watching it, because it's not going to be good for you. At any rate, be kind to one another. Don't go killing anybody, Try to avoid that shit. But, if you feel like you got to do it, do what you think you got to do, and we'll see how this works out. I'm good. I know if like right now, Well, I'm not in the best spot. I can defend this position very well. But if I lived in Minneapolis, of my mindset, you know, on the side of law enforcement and ICE doing their job, going after criminals and getting people who are in the country illegally out, especially with all the Somalis there and the corruption that they've been part of. And this stupid lady lying, she's lying, this with the band-aids on her head. I don't believe that fucking story at all. Whatever. I'd be up on the roof. I would construct something that looks like flying pigeons or something. It would probably only be about 5 feet off the surface of the roof, but it'd be a metal corrugated roof, so anything flying over can't really see me. And I'd be up there with a sniper rifle. And I would have electric blankets on me and coffee and shit. I'm just saying if actual combat happened. I'm not saying I would just do this, you know. But if they started popping off and if they were running around the streets and trying to shoot ICE in the back and that sort of thing, pop. This is the crazy thing they don't understand. All these guys grew up playing video games. There was, I don't know if it was NATO, I think it was NATO, did like an investigation after the Battle of Fallujah because so many of the enemy was shot in the face. And it was all headshots. The Marines. They were killing everybody with headshots. So they thought there was war crimes going on. Like they were wounded, then they walked up and shot them. But no. I was once on a movie set, and they had a pellet gun, and they were shooting out lights at the end. We had rented a factory space as an area to build all the props for a movie. And a guy brought the pellet gun in, and I'm watching them. I'm like, what are you doing, guys? You're just raining glass down and everything. I mean, put up some targets. So I've set up some targets, and they're having fun, and I'm not participating. I've done enough shooting in my life, you know. And they're like, Mike, come on, man, let's see you do something. And so the guy gives me a thing, and he takes a bottle cap, and he puts it, and it was a pretty good distance. It might be 20 feet, 25 feet or more. A bottle cap, maybe 30 feet. It was a good distance. And I just laid it on here, one shot, pop, and nailed it. And everyone was like, holy shit, they're fucking, holy crap. And the one guy says, well, I fucking hope so, man, because it was my tax dollars that taught you how to do that. That's the thing. This is the thing. You got, most of these guys are, you know, I'm assuming, I could be wrong. I think a lot of the guys in ICE right now are prior service. I think I told you last week, they took the age restriction off. I could go and work for ICE right now. Don't think I haven't fantasized about it. I'm not going to do it. It ain't going to be what they think it's going to be is all I'm saying. Because if it's a real bout, if they start shooting and there's a defined line, which they've put up, they've already established a fortification. They're going to be armed behind it. They're setting up a combat scenario. This is what the left is doing. That's what they're setting up. Okay, the Antifa people. Okay. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you get 20 Marines geared up, body armor, the whole thing. They will come. They're going to take cover along the way. They're not stupid. But they could pretty much walk in a line straight at them and just be taking people out, man. I mean, it's not going to work the way that they think it's going to work. And I don't know. I'm not happy about any of it, but this is what the country was based on. The country was based on war. Our Star-Spangled Banner is about war. It was written while the guy was on a ship watching war take place. That our Star-Spangled Banner is glorifying war. It was always the Department of War. It became Department of Defense. We brought it back to the Department of War. War fighters, period. You could live in this country and not like that aspect of it. That's fine. Just shut the fuck up, because that's what it's about. You try to pussify us, you just make us weaker, which ruins everything. We're better in a position of strength. Read the book by Sun Tzu, The Art of War. This is what we're doing right now. This is what it is. This is what America is. For better or worse. Your sensibility, I don't like this, I want everybody to be, I get it, you know, but we got warriors here. We're not fucking around. And speaking as a guy that, I didn't enlist in the Marine Corps to not do 4 years. I went in to do a lot more than that, and I got injured. Didn't work out for me. That sucks. It's been fucking with my head all these years. But that's what I enlisted for, was for that experience, and I didn't get to do it. When I got out of the Marines, I did some fucked up shit that I don't talk about here. So it's not like I haven't been shot at or stabbed or anything else. There's been many times in my life where I fought with my bare hands for my life. And I'm still here. So, you know, the point is, it's a big part of us. It's a big part of our history. We've had wars on our soil with one another. This is nothing new. We're not afraid of it. We're not afraid. The Revolutionary War happened here. 1% of the population, 3% of the population fought. Actually has the balls to fight. The Civil War, brother against brother, man. Big fucking deal. A lot of people died. Is it time for that again? I don't know. I'd like to know what the uniforms are going to be, right? Because the left is going to have the pink pussy hats on and purple hair and nose rings. You know, that's going to be their uniform. We're going to wear denim and camo. You know, that'll be fine. We just established it. Instead of blue gray, that's what it is. Pink pussy hats, purple hair, nose rings versus denim and camo. And all the, you know, both sides will have the tactical gear. That's fine. Let's go. If that's what you really want, let's just get it over with. I mean, I'm not happy to say that, you know, it's not going to be what our Civil War was in the 1860s. It's not what's going to happen. It's going to pop off here and it's going to end here. That's what's going to happen. It might pop off in a couple other cities. And if it does, it's going to end right there. Period. Because they don't have the common sense to stand on. They're not trying to secede from the Union or anything. They're supporting a political ideology that has been proven to destroy people, ruin people's lives, leading to the mass death of people, ruining countries and everything else. And every country that's tried it has had to come around. It's never worked. And these idiots have been brainwashed into it, right? Via the Cloward-Piven strategy and the Saul Alinsky 13 Rules for Radicals. That's what's going on. And it's being pushed by mentally disturbed, deranged people that are teaching this to your children, college professors and teachers. And it's really crazy. There needs to be a psychological examination for anybody that's a teacher. It just needs to happen. And you know what? Do it for law enforcement too, if it makes you feel better. Both sides. Anybody that has to deal with the public, whether you're enforcing law or teaching them, you've got to go through a battery of psychological examinations to make sure that your fucking brain works right. You're not like overly emotional and don't believe some far extreme political ideology again that leads to the mass death of millions of people. I would support that. Be kind to one another. Have a good day. Hope you had a good weekend. I'm on it this week, man. Designing a bunch of shit, working up some numbers. I'm excited about it. And I'll catch you in the next video.